Hello everyone, it's JD here, and today I'll be showing you guys a new PC project I just completed. The PC I am referring to is a mini ITX LAN box system that I will be using in LANSlide V21. This system was built because I am competing in a PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds tournament at LANSlide and I need the appropriate hardware for the game. I would have taken my laptop to LANSlide, but the specs for my laptop were barely enough to sustain 20 FPS in 720p on low. Thus, the LAN Box 1.0 was born, a lightweight quad-core PC with a full-size air cooler and a 750 Ti graphics card that is just above the minimum specifications for PUBG, but has the perfect specifications for all of the other games. So with all that said, what is LANSlide, you may ask? LANSlide is Southeast Melbourne's biggest LAN party event and the second biggest of its kind in Victoria. Around 250 players will come down to the quarterly events armed with their PCs, laptops, and gear to battle in a number of team-based and free-for-all competitions. The event is sponsored by some of gaming's leading hardware manufacturers and computer stores, including PLE Computers, Gigabyte, Samsung, and Cooler Master. LANSlide began in April 2012 at Melbourne PC Users Group and is growing from an attendance rating of 65 players to over 200 players. LANSlide is currently held at Aspendale Gardens Community Centre, and I will leave the link to their website in the description below. So most of the parts in the system were donated from an old computer that was broken prior to this build, and with a few parts from PLE Computers and MSY Technology, I managed to create a mighty gaming PC with the specs of a mid-range gaming computer. The main specs for this PC include an i5-4570 clocked at 3.2 GHz, a Thermaltake 1230 silent cooler with a MacGyvered backplate of a Corsair H-series water cooler, one stick of 8GB DDR3 memory from Patriot clocked at 1600 MHz, an MSI Z87i mini ITX motherboard with a broken RAM slot, a Western Digital 1TB hard drive, an MSI GTX 750 Ti graphics card in replacement of a damaged EVGA 750 Ti graphics card, and, lucky last, a Thermaltake Core V1 case powered by a Corsair HX 650W power supply. With LANSlide just around the corner, I managed to complete this build and test two of the games that I will be competing in. Leading up to the LAN box's completion, on the other hand, I climbed multiple hurdles put in place by my scrapyard components, my tools, and my miscalculations. At the beginning of the building process, I encountered a screwy backplate for the cooler. The screw got lodged in the standoff and had damaged the thread internally. I had tried all that I could to remove the backplate, but it just wouldn't budge. So out of two of the stores that I had visited, PLE Computers saved the day and removed the backplate from my motherboard. I was back in business and ready to complete my PC, but I encountered my second hurdle soon after celebrating. The cooler I had installed was overlapping the PCI slot, so I couldn't install my graphics card. So in the events of this, I decided to rotate the cooler and see if it'll fit the other way, and I ended up blocking the RAM slot, but I could still fit a smaller stick of RAM, so in my own troubleshooting method, I decided to buy a smaller stick of memory, which was the Patriot stick that is now in my build, and it just fit. Out of all the hurdles I jumped, the remaining one was trying to install the graphics drivers from the original graphics card. Now originally I wouldn't think this would be a worry, but apparently it just wouldn't download and it just wouldn't work. It still couldn't recognize it was a 750 Ti, and even when it did, it came up with an error code 43. I looked up what this meant, and sometimes it just means a crappy driver or a driver that isn't supported, so I could have tried an older driver to try and get that to work, but the driver that I'm trying to install is compatible with PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and I want it to be as optimized as I can. So my way of troubleshooting this was buying a new MSI 750 Ti graphics card, which threw my budget into around $450, and that is about the maximum that I had to pay for this computer. So the only thing left to do now is benchmarking, and now I present to you the final benchmarks. Enjoy.
Piss off! Who's there?
So that brings us to the end of this video. Now LANSlide is starting in a couple of hours from the 30th of the 9th at 12:27 AM. And I gotta get prepared because I need to pack up my computer. I need to get actually all my stuff installed. I actually forgot all about that. But anyway, before I go, I just want to let you guys know that I'm not being sponsored by any of the brands I've mentioned in this video. This is purely my just like appreciation for the brands that are in it, or the brands that are sponsored in the tournament that I'm entering in. If you want to check out the details for the tournaments and tournaments by LANSlide, then check out the description below because I have linked the page for the tournaments right there. Anyway, I'm gonna get going now, so I will see you guys in my next video, which should be pretty soon. So see you guys later.